Welcome to Into the Blue, presented by Penelope Bourbon, a weekly look behind the scenes of the Tampa Bay Lightning with reporters Gabby, Shirley, and Ben Pierce.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Into the Blue. Gabby, Shirley here with Ben Pierce. We are recording this episode from our respective homes before we head to the Tampa Bay Lightning's practice facility for an 11 o'clock practice. Ben, how are you? Haven't seen you in a few days with the new year rolling around. We've both been home.
I feel great, but I suppose a 7-game win streak will do that for you, right? Second one of the year, by the way. I feel great. Things are great. I can't wait to get down there. So let's get rolling here.
Yeah, it's been really fun watching the team from afar. You know, I'm not usually used to that, but still, these games have been absolutely outstanding, and we don't have a whole lot to complain about. Okay, but as we always say, Ben, in an effort to look ahead, I guess this is looking back a teeny bit, but we are going to talk about the Olympic announcements because this Tampa Bay Lightning team at this point in time has 9 players that will be playing in the Olympics. Really exciting. I want to hear if you were surprised by any of these announcements, anyone that you're really looking forward to watching, but let me just run through them quickly. Again, there's a lot of names here. In alphabetical order, based on who they'll be playing for: Team Canada, Cirelli, Hagel, Point; Team Denmark, Bjorkstrand; Team Latvia, Gergensons; Team Slovakia, Chernak; Team Sweden, Hedman, Holmberg; Team Switzerland. Now, this is still a question mark because the roster hasn't officially been put out yet, but you got to expect Jay Moser to be on there. And Team USA, perhaps our favorite, Gensel.
Yeah, that's a list, by the way. What was that? 10 guys, right? And
10 guys.
And then you throw in the fact that obviously Jon Cooper will be head coaching Team Canada. Julian Brisebois, GM of the Lightning, is on Team Canada staff, as is men's performance coach Brian Hamilton. So, like, the Lightning are all over the Olympics, and well-deserved for everybody that's going. To me, Gabby, I think the name that sticks out is Pontus Holmberg, the backpack, right?
Yep, the backpack.
And it's, I think mostly because you look at some of the names that Sweden is leaving at home, there's some guys having really good years this year that have been Olympians in the past. And I think if you look at Holmberg, what he's done previously for Sweden, like for him, we've talked to him a little bit. I don't know if we would have asked Pontus Holmberg even a couple of weeks ago if this was on his radar. I don't know if he would have said yes.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
However, I think if we would have asked his teammates, I think they would have probably told us he deserved a look. Like, that's how well he's been playing this year. And I think you look at what he's brought to this group and this team and the energy. And we've heard so much from everybody else about, like, Jon Cooper, about how you're trying to build a team, right? And for this Olympics, you're not trying to bring the best players, but you're trying to bring the best team. And I think Pontus Holmberg might be the best example of that. He's the physicality, the depth forward, the penalty kill. I mean, the guy's got the nickname the backpack, for God's sake, right? Like, I don't know how much more team builder you can get than that. I'm interested to see if he's in the lineup right away when the Olympics start, right? Because you will have 14 forwards. So is he one of the extra 2 guys, or is he part of their plans immediately? I would expect him to play for sure, but is it right away at the start? Who knows? But good for Pontus Holmberg, right? Like, this is a pleasant surprise, I would say. But it is a well-deserved pleasant surprise, and he deserves to be there. Like, and I think even the national level, when you hear other guys talk about this, other people talk about this, they say, maybe we didn't see this coming, but it is deserved. Like, don't lose sight of that part, that maybe it's not the name we expected, but it is deserved for Pontus Holmberg in the year that he's had.
Yeah, Ben, and I really couldn't have said it any better. When you look at the stats, right, 12 points in 34 games for him this season, it doesn't jump off the page. But when you really key in on him and focus on his play, like, he's a coach's dream. He does everything you could ask for. He makes minimal mistakes. The backpack, I still, Ben, am not quite sure on the clarification if it's carrying the puck to make the play, carrying teammates on his back, some sort of variation of that. That is where the nickname came from. But yes, he does all of the right things. And again, it doesn't always appear on the score sheet, but that doesn't matter. As you just mentioned, Jon Cooper said, we have to build a team. I'm sure Team Sweden is thinking that same thing. They don't care necessarily all the time about goals scored, assists. Like, they want good, solid players that will help them win this thing. And yes, he does all of the right things. And I am so happy for him.
Yeah, and such a good guy, right? Every time we talk to him, he's got a smile on his face, and I couldn't be happier for him. And that Olympics, we're gonna have a reason to watch every single game. Like, Lightning fans, good luck finding sleep during this Olympic quote unquote break, because now you're gonna have to watch literally every single game, because you're gonna have a Lightning player playing in every single game, it seems like. So good for every single one of these guys, and good for the Lightning organization, because I think if you just said that the Lightning organization was going to have 9-10 guys at the start of the year, they'd have been thrilled with that. But I think even the team would have been like, that's a lot of players. So I don't know. I'd have to look, but I would be shocked if that doesn't lead the NHL.
Yeah, Ben, if you count Moser, and if the Florida Panthers don't have anyone else that were to get on a team that hasn't been announced yet, we have the most at 10. Florida Panthers have 9 right now, and then there are a couple other teams with 8. But we would have the most if JJ Moser is included on Team Switzerland, and I assume he will be.
Crazy. And that wasn't the only good news last week either for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So
tell us.
Well, also a little bit of, in a different vein, some international news. Charle-Édouard D'Astous, the defenseman who made the leap last year from international hockey to join the Tampa Bay Lightning organization, re-ups with the Tampa Bay Lightning on a 1-year, $875,000 one-way contract with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Chucky will be back with the Tampa Bay Lightning in the 2026-27 NHL season, and good for Charle-Édouard D'Astous. He's earned it. He's tied with JJ Moser this year in defensive scoring. He's been fantastic. He's also tied second on the team in PIMS this year. He's up there in hits. He's done everything the Lightning organization has asked, making the leap from Europe to the NHL. He's been such a pleasant surprise, and another guy who started the year, first couple of games in the AHL organization was like, "What? This guy's got to come up. We got to get him an NHL look," and he has not looked back. Gabby, I know you've been very impressed. So good for Chucky, and the organization just hasn't stopped raving about what they've seen from this guy since he came here.
Ben, you are so much better at hitting us with the cold, hard facts. I love it time and time again. People are probably sick and tired of hearing me say what a great individual these players are. But again, Charle-Édouard D'Astous, so happy to be here. Smile on his face all the time, Ben. Always a pleasure to talk to. I asked him, this was months ago, maybe, about an off-ice feature we were thinking, just because he has a lot of good friends, the younger side of things. Dominic James, Jack Finley, like a lot of good friends on the team. They're always doing stuff together. They were in the same hotel, yada, yada. And I asked him, what do you guys do? We might want to follow you around day in a life when you're not at the rink. And he's like, we don't do a whole lot, but like, you tell us what you need and like, we'll do it. Like, just such a lovely person. I enjoy talking to him so much. And yes, to see what he's been able to do on the ice. Obviously, if you're a great guy, but you can't play hockey, you're not getting a contract. But he has it all. This team continually been, I shouldn't say this, but they surprise me in the players that they are able to find. Pulling him, having him make his NHL debut this season after starting in the AHL, 27 years old, undrafted. Like, this guy is going to be a player. And I am so happy that he's going to be around for another year.
Well, and this guy is the definition of like work your way up, right? Like Charle-Édouard D'Astous a couple of years ago was playing in the East Coast League. He was the East Coast League's defenseman of the year, right? Went up to the AHL, and then North American hockey wasn't working, so he went over to Europe, right? Started in one European league, played well enough there, worked up to a different European league, won that league's defenseman of the year, enough to then get the attention of the Lightning, who said, yep, let's go. Let's bring him over. Like, this guy just never took no for an answer.
You don't hear this often, Ben.
No, because most of the times when North America when it doesn't work the first time around, a lot of those guys just say, okay, you know what? That's fine. I'm just going to go enjoy, because life in Europe is fantastic, right? A lot of these guys love that. They love that life. It's amazing. They just go play pro hockey in Europe and it's awesome. And so the fact that he just never took no for an answer is remarkable. And we hear so much about the journey in hockey, and just, I could listen to Charle-Édouard D'Astous talk about his hockey journey all day. Like, it really could be its own book. Like, it's phenomenal when you hear about all his different hockey
Ben,
stuff.
will you write that book? We should arrange that.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see if he'd let me, for sure. But it's funny listening to him talk about it, though, because he almost talks it down, right? Like, you really have to pry to get him to talk about like how hard he worked, because he gives a lot of credit to other people, right? Like, he really does give the credit to the people around him, but he deserves a lot of credit for what he's done. And I think, like, when he got here, the offensive numbers, particularly like in the minors, in the American League, in the ECHL, really jumped off the page. I mean, the guy had like 20 goals the one year in the ECHL playoff run. And it was like, what? Oh. Like, in the playoffs? But the physicality this year, I think, has really what surprised me. And I think that was something that I didn't expect to see, but it has brought, especially, I think, with Emil Lilleberg out of the lineup, I think it's something that this team has needed. And I think it's something that I didn't expect. So good for D'Astous. And I remember when he first came up, I asked him, like, what do you want to bring? Like, what's your goal? And he said, like, I want to prove that I'm an NHL player. And when he re-signed, when he jumped on that quick media availability last week, I asked him, like, okay, I'm coming at you with the same question. Like what now? Like, you proved you're here. What now? And he said, I feel like I proved that I can be here. Now I want to prove that I can make a difference. Like, I want to be more than just an NHL player. We'll see, right? Yep. But I think on his way. He is, and he's off to a great start. So good for Chucky. And he's been a big part of the 7-game win streak, and the Lightning are going to have a big task to push it to 8.
They will, Ben. Oh, that was a really good transition. Gosh, I was scratching my head how I was going to transition there. Wow. Good job. Tampa Bay Lightning, Tuesday, they will host the Colorado Avalanche at Benchmark International Arena. So, Ben, the question I wrote down for this topic, if you will, was how can the Lightning extend their 7-game win streak against the Avalanche, right? I think even the casual hockey fan knows how great, how fantastic the Colorado Avalanche are playing this year. 31-3-7, 69 points, top team in the NHL by far. Now, just yesterday on Sunday, they had their 10-game win streak snapped by the Florida Panthers. That was only their 3rd regulation loss. And Ben, which I don't know if you would say there's added motivation or they're just down in the dumps, but they lose their captain. He was hurt in that game, had to be helped off the ice. At this point in time, Ben Nahr is saying he's going to miss some time for sure. It looked like a rib injury, TBD. That's Gabriel Landeskog. So with all that being said, I guess my questions to you are, one, from your being the casual hockey fan, more than just that, following all the teams, like, why are the Avalanche so good this season? And yes, what do the Lightning need to do to beat them?
Well, they're an absolute wagon. Like,
I love that phrase.
They're a wagon. And I think they just have so much top end talent mixed with the bottom 6 that just, they plug and play different guys, that they're honestly a lot like the Lightning in the aspect of they find a way to bring in these depth guys. And I think, like, when you look at their bottom 6, like, they just find ways to bring in these guys that just play hockey the right way. And I think they have the offensive talent, and they also just play a really hard style of hockey. And I think, like, when I was looking at the stats for me, and even, like, I'll look at the game notes, like when I was putting the game notes together for this game, I was looking at the top teams in the NHL, and I'm like, okay, let's look at the defense. The Lightning and the Avalanche are both top 3 in goals against per game. And I'm like, okay, so probably expect like a tight defensive game, right? And then I'm looking at the top scoring teams in the NHL, and I'm like, okay, Lightning and Avalanche both top 4. Maybe we'll see a top scoring team. Okay, well, maybe we'll expect it off. Like, okay, so I don't know what to expect, right? Like they're 2 really, really good teams. But like the thing with the Avalanche is they have that depth, but they also have the top scoring punch. And I think like you look at Cale Makar, my God, like to me, it is that depth, but I also think it's going to be the forecheck and the physicality. You can't let Cale Makar leave the zone with speed. He's a menace. And once he leaves the defensive zone with speed, it's over. Once Nathan McKinnon is zooming through the D zone or the neutral zone, it's over. It's going to be a tight checking physical game. And a team that has, what is it now? Is it 3 losses in regulation, right? After last night, after they lost to Florida, like you're going to have to play a tight checking game to beat this team. And another team that's got a fair share of its Olympians, you're just going to have to play the right way. If you make a mistake, they're probably going to capitalize. And I think you're just going to have to play a tight checking, winning brand of hockey. And you're not going to be able to make very many mistakes.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this game, Ben. The Tampa Bay Lightning lost to the Colorado Avalanche on the road earlier this season. Gosh, I should have double checked it. I'm so sorry I didn't, but I believe that was the last game in which Darren Raddysh was a healthy scratch. Coincidence? I don't know. But yes, this Lightning team has evolved since then, changed a lot, 7-game win streak. I think it should be a good one. I'm really excited. Perhaps, as you just alluded to, Ben, I'm not entirely sure what to expect as both teams are really good on both ends of the ice, but we'll see soon enough.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it, but like we could possibly be looking at like game of the year territory. We'll see. But like this is one of those games I think that you circle at the start of the year and you're saying like this is the kind of game that you want to go to when the schedule comes out. And now, you know, as the schedule unfolds and the standings start to unfold, as of today, Monday, January 5th, it's the top team in the Western and the Eastern Conference. So it's unfolded that way. We'll see. Hopefully the game goes just as we hope.
And right, as if you needed more of a reason, I guess I should say, to be in the building early, ready to roll, Jon Cooper's 1000th NHL game ceremony is happening on Tuesday night prior to puck drop. So again, if you have tickets to that game, make sure you are in your seats promptly because you don't want to miss a second of all the celebrations. Love it. Okay. Shall we move on, Ben, to the Blue Line segment?
Let's do it.
You have a question from Keith here. He actually emailed us, which was great. I always forget to tell you guys how to send in questions aside from posting them on X. You can call 813-301-6749. You can also email us at boltsintotheblue@gmail.com. Again, this question comes from Keith. Ben, and it comes with a compliment to start off. Ben, you are really good with research and statistics. Couldn't agree more. Okay, 2 questions from Keith. We'll start with the first one. How many times has a defenseman earned a hat trick like Raddy earned in the game against the San Jose Sharks? I think you have an answer for us.
Yes, first off, Keith, thank you. That's a very kind way of saying that Ben Pierce is a big nerd. Thank you.
True.
The answer is actually even more rare than I expected.
Oh my gosh.
Darren Raddysh earned the 3rd hat trick in Tampa Bay Lightning history by a defenseman.
Yep.
The last one was Dan Boyle in 2006. So it has been almost 2 decades. The only other one was by Doug Crossman in the team's first ever season in 1992. November of 1992 was the only other one. So pretty rare a feat the other night by Darren Raddysh. Pretty impressive. And Raddy only needed 2 periods to get it done. So pretty impressive.
Of course he did. Now, Ben, sorry. Do you know how many times, obviously the number will be higher, but a defenseman has done it in NHL history?
Okay, so I did ask that question of NHL stats and did not get an answer. Okay. However, here's where it gets crazy. Okay. That game also saw dueling hat tricks because we did see Pablo Regenda, unfortunately, finish his hat trick for San Jose.
Keith's second question. How rare is a double hat trick in a single game?
Right. It was the second game with dueling hat tricks in the NHL this season. The other game with dueling hat tricks in the NHL this season included the San Jose Sharks. So they've been part of both games with dueling hat tricks. And Darren Raddysh's brother.
Really your name.
Taylor Raddysh. Now, that sounds crazy as is. The only other game in Tampa Bay Lightning history with dueling hat tricks came on January 18th, 2014. Martin St. Louis scored 4 goals in a game that Joe Pavelski scored 3 goals for the San Jose Sharks.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, what is going on here? Like, so every research. Time I guess I'm like the Eastern Conference and Western Conference, I'm like, these teams play twice a year, you know, like, and for a couple of
look out.
I was down the craziest rabbit hole looking at the stats and everything. So great question, Keith. And you had me just absolutely running through the stat sheets, but great game once again for Darren Raddysh. He continues his crazy season. He's now tied for 3rd, by the way, in the NHL for goals by a defenseman with 12, 34 points in 35 games. Darren Raddysh is almost a point per game player for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's 7th in the NHL in points by a defenseman in a contract year. After that contract for Charle-Édouard D'Astous, which we talked about just a couple of minutes ago, he's one of only a few unrestricted free agents left on this Lightning roster. We've received a few questions left this season on what the Lightning are going to do with Darren Raddysh this offseason. And it's a good question. You know, like, he's certainly increased his value, the conversation around his name these last couple of weeks. And Jon Cooper talked about that post game the other night about, like, listen, this guy didn't play every single game at the start of the year, but I can't say enough good things about how he's responded to that.
Just playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of swag, and it's paying off. And good for him. I mean, that kid's, you know, he's had to fill a lot of different holes and situations for us over the years, and it's they like to see good guys get rewarded, and he's getting rewarded.
Good guys getting rewarded, Ben. Yes, you love to see it. Keith, thank you again for your questions. We were debating on whether or not to put Raddysh and his hat trick in the first part of this episode because it just felt silly not to talk about him again. So you gave us an opportunity to do so. He's having a phenomenal season. A lot going on in the Raddysh household. You guys have heard us allude to it. His dad's battling cancer. Raddysh and his wife just welcomed a baby boy into the world. Contract year for him. He was healthy scratch in the beginning of the season. And now look at him playing every game, how he is playing, not only on the score sheet, right, Ben, but like he's doing things well defensively too. It couldn't be better. I'm so happy for him. And I love watching him play. It takes a lot of effort for me, Ben, now that I'm not traveling with the team, not to like text him after every game, just being like, holy cow, like, dude.
Good game.
Yeah. Like I just had to like, it's crazy. It's crazy. He is playing out of his mind. It's really nice.
It's awesome. Yeah. And he never says no to answering some questions too, which is good. Because I'm sure he's quite sick of us asking him, like, how do you keep doing this, man? So.
He doesn't love the media, but he always answers our questions.
Yeah. That's what happens when you're scoring a couple points a night, though. You never get rid of us. So.
Right. Yeah. You can't.
One of many good questions. And with that, we'll go to Crystal's husband, who wants to know, Shirley's, how does it feel facing prior teammates, and do they try to avoid them in fights? And the Lightning have faced a couple of former teammates this year. So I don't know if you've asked this question yet. What's the deal here?
Gosh, Ben, no, I'm kicking myself again. I've promised our listeners and our viewers I was going to do a better job of taking their questions and going straight to the source. It didn't happen this time. So Crystal's husband, I'm sorry, but best guess. And hopefully, Ben, you agree with me that, I mean, of course it depends on the teammate, how long, when you face a former teammate, how long you were together, if you won together, if you were, I mean, this Tampa Bay Lightning team does such a good job of welcoming players in. They all seem to be the best of friends. But like, if you had to break it down into smaller groups, was that your buddy? You know, like that all comes into play. So I would say, again, depending on the relationships that were built and the length of time players played together, it's always like bittersweet, maybe like really exciting to see said former teammate. If they come in early the day before, oftentimes they're going out to dinner. So-and-so's having them over at their home for dinner, like hanging out with family again, because families get really close too. I hear a lot of that. And of course, Ben, I'm thinking about the Steven Stamkos, the Alex Killorns, the once upon a time Yanni Gourde, like that part of the core group specifically for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then, so I would say, how does it feel? Kind of weird, but like, again, really nice. And the guys often try to get together before the game, like the night before. And then the second part, do they try to avoid them in fights? Ben, you might have a better example off the top of your head. I can't think like, right. I remember, wasn't it like Braden Point and Mikey Eyssimont, like sort of fought like before Eyssimont became a member of the Lightning? Like, I can't think of an example of an actual gloves off fight that between players that used to be teammates, at least connected to the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I would say while players don't necessarily try to avoid it, like they'll talk trash, they'll put their glove in the person's face, they'll rough them up against the boards. I don't think they're necessarily looking to drop gloves against.
Well, look at the other night. Barclay Goodrow and Anthony Cirelli were barking at each other, right? Like,
right. But they didn't drop the gloves.
No, but a lot of times it's just like, look, man, I really don't want to do this, but like the wires cross and all of a sudden you look at each other and you're like, oh, I know that guy, right? Like,
yeah.
In the heat of the moment, things happen, you know, it's just hockey. And I think it's just how it goes. So.
All right. So was that a fair assessment again, even though I didn't go to the source?
Yeah. I mean, you never want to fight a friend, but like at the same time, if you, if somebody, it's a bad hit, sometimes you can't go back to your bench and your coach looks at like, what are you doing? And you're like, well, it's my buddy, you know, the coach can be like,
right. Never.
These are your buddies. What are you doing? You know, that's never going to be an acceptable answer. So there's times where you got to do what you got to do. And I think everybody in the NHL understands that. It's the NHL, so sometimes your team's you got to come first. So.
Yeah, but great question from Crystal's husband. And again, I'm so sorry I didn't take it to some of our players, but I think I'm pretty confident in my answer.
Yeah, that's a good answer. All right,
Ben, you want to read about Penelope Bourbon?
Yes, and I actually don't have the bottle by me because I was able to have a drink of the Penelope Bourbon. This season, Penelope Bourbon is a proud partner of the Tampa Bay Lightning and Benjamin Pierce. Whether you're cheering at Benchmark International Arena or raising a glass at home, Penelope brings fans together. That's one pour, one moment, one win at a time. You can find us at Publix or right here in the arena. Go Bolts. And like I said, I would recommend Penelope Bourbon, as evidenced by the fact that it is no longer behind me and is currently sitting in my own liquor cabinet. I will have to go get a new bottle to replace the one that is now empty. So apologies. I will have a new one for the next pod, I promise.
All right. Well, on that note, you got to start us off with your plus, because it sounds like you've been just having a time this week downing Penelope Bourbon.
Yeah, well, no, my plus is not Penelope Bourbon. I'm sorry, guys. My plus is my two favorite humans visiting me this week, in my niece Odie and my nephew Skylar. Like I said yesterday, we went to, and I'm embarrassed to admit, I don't know the name of the place. It was like, it's not in Disney, but it's like, it's part of the Disney park. You don't need like a ticket. It's Disney
Springs.
Yes, Disney Springs.
Really?
That's it. Yes.
Okay, I'm a terrible Disney person. That was a guess.
So it's like a T-Rex place, like a T-Rex dinner place. We went with the kids, and they absolutely loved it, and it was a lot of fun. And I got this drink. Obviously, I didn't share the drink with the kids, but it came with like this little toy shark in it. And Odie, my niece, stole the shark out of my drink. And don't worry, I rinsed it off with water before I gave it to her, so she didn't get the alcoholic shark, but. It came a little shot glass in the shark, and I was kind of upset that she took my shark. But my plus is that I got to hang out with my favorite humans this week. So even if she stole my shark, yes. So my plus is I get to see my favorite humans this week. So I'm very excited to spend a couple days with them, and they'll get to see their first Lightning game tomorrow. So very excited to share the Lightning with my favorite people. So
that's such a good plus.
Yes, very excited. What about you? What's your plus?
My plus, Ben, was, again, I've said it at nauseum. Sorry, guys, not traveling with the team. Baby is coming very soon. But because of that, and because the legendary Paul Kennedy had a different obligation on New Year's Eve, I got to host my first ever full Tampa Bay Lightning game, filling in for Paul Kennedy. New Year's Eve, it was the Lightning at the Ducks. We talked about him already, but Darren Raddysh scores that game-winning goal in OT. Hagel with a beautiful pass to him. Great game. I really enjoyed the experience. I don't know how great I was at it, but I enjoyed it. And Ben, I know you saw this. My quote-unquote co-hosts, the analysts, if you will, Patty Maroon and Ryan Malone, who, again, are really good friends. Quite a time. I had to rein in the laughter because they were cracking me up the entire game. And it was really fun.
Yeah, you were wrangling them in there at times. I just saw that the one point you're just looking at them like, guys, what? Come on.
They literally cannot be wrangled, but I really tried my best. And again, just having that opportunity and to get that experience doing a full show, because I had been doing some pregame shows when the games are national games, but we don't do obviously intermissions and postgame. But to do the whole thing was really awesome. And again, I don't know how great I did, guys, so I'm so sorry if you're watching being like this girl, but I tried really hard and I'll only get better. That's
my favorite part when you do it is all the social media. Everybody just loves seeing Gabby Shirley on their TV. So everybody they're like, oh my God, oh, look who it is. They love it. So
I don't know about that. I had a strict rule of no demos. Like, Ben, I just wanted to be seated behind the desk because
you didn't want the hockey stick.
No one needs to see me, A, with a hockey stick in my hand, and B, full body baby shot. Nope.
Let's see the Shirley slap shot. Come on.
No, we're good.
Okay. All right. Good. Fair enough. All right.
All right. Okay. What's your minus?
Well, my minus is that while my favorite humans are here, we did go to Disney Springs, and amidst all of that, my mother absolutely roasted me with a text yesterday. Are you gonna read it? A little bit of a rabbit hole. Yes. When I was a child, I had a traumatic experience in Florida. As a toddler, we had a long day at Disney, and my parents bought me a hot dog that a seagull flew in and stole while I was in my stroller. And I threw my hot dog bun on the ground as I was crying in frustration, and another bird swooped in and stole that. So we left SeaWorld and never went back. And it's like this running family joke about how SeaWorld is like a prison on earth. And it's like we just became this running family joke that we'll never go back because the birds are out to get us at SeaWorld. And so we took Odie and Skylar to Disney yesterday, and we're sitting there, and my mom and we were going with the kids, and we were all excited to take them there. And we're walking through Disney, and all of a sudden I get a random notification on my phone, and it's a Venmo from my mother, and it's $5, and it's from my mom, and it says, "Get yourself a hot dog and don't let a bird steal it this time." and I was speechless. And my wife, Molly, has heard the story, like a family Thanksgiving, whatever, and she could not stop laughing. And I was so rattled, I didn't even know what to do. Mom
is ruthless, and I
ruthless.
Love it.
I had mentioned in passing, oh yeah, the in-laws are coming, we're bringing the kids to Disney Springs. It was so she got me, mom got me, and that's my minus, because she roasted me, and it was a very good roast. My minus is that I didn't have a response. So credit to mom, because it was a great roast.
Ben, that is so funny. I often hear about the adorable tough day, long day, best friend sent me a Venmo to get a coffee, or, da.
Yeah.
Mom sending you a Venmo to
You're roasting
replace
me.
your hot dog from 20 years ago. That is so good. So
She roasted me.
unexpected. So good.
You roasted me. Yep.
Mm.
So yeah. So what's your minus now that I've rattled myself all over again with my
I want to
Stiegel
meet
hot
Mom.
dog.
I want to meet Mom.
She's a savage.
Okay, Ben, right? My minus was strategically placed because we got some questions. So we're just wrapping it up here. My minus, I'll try not to cry, is that this is my last podcast of the regular season, as I am going on maternity leave because this baby, Ben, is due on Friday, which is kind of crazy. Am
Tragic.
I ready?
I mean,
Nope.
exciting, but tragic for me.
Yeah. I mean, heck, tragic for me. I'm gonna miss you guys. But questions were, what happens next? I will obviously be back for the postseason, a nice long postseason run for the Tampa Bay Lightning. But in the meantime, the lovely reporter who is filling in for me on TV, Julie Stewart-Binks, she will also be filling in for me here. So Ben, you might have to take the reins. I would expect you to just rise to the occasion. You're going to be fantastic. But Julie will be the co-host of Into the Blue for the remainder of the regular season. That is the plan. Just received confirmation seconds ago.
All right.
Ben has no words. Does that mean you're going to miss me so much?
Of course, we're all going to
say
miss
it. You
Gabby
can say it
Shirley.
aloud.
Did you see the responses when you posted? Like, do you have any final questions for me on my season finale of Into the Blue? People were like, "Where are you going?" They were upset. It's sad. Julie will be fantastic, as she has been so far on TV. Of course, I think we're all excited to have Julie here. But of course, we will miss the great Gabby Shirley while you were gone. So. We're very excited for you in this new journey, but of course we will miss you while you're gone.
Thank you. I will miss you guys too. It's been a pleasure. And like I said, I'll be back. But in the meantime, Tampa Bay Lightning, 7-game win streak, looking to extend that against the Colorado Avalanche on Tuesday. Ben and I, because Ben, you can't get rid of me that easy, we will both be in the building for that game. So excited to watch it. No idea what to expect. But
Fireworks.
Yeah, it's going to be fireworks, and hopefully just the Tampa Bay Lightning continue to roll this season. I will be watching from my couch.
All right. I'll see you in 20 minutes.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right. Bye.